I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and we need help.
Each week we stumble through a new book, method, or concept that brings us one step closer to being our best self.
Yes, we make fun of ourselves.
And others.
But mostly just ourselves. So here's to not taking self-help quite so seriously.
Okay, everybody, welcome to We Need Help. It's just me, not Izzy. Her voice went out on her this week, and rather than cancel, we brought in my better half just in time for Valentine's Day, my love.
Yeah.
This is Jason Yana, the Jason Yana.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the perfect subject this week because we're talking about couples.
And love.
And lots of love and not in love. And we're doing Esther Perel's The Arc of, I can't remember.
Love?
Love, The Arc of Love.
I think it is.
So it's a podcast that actually does like therapy sessions and you get to listen in on them.
Like a fly on the wall.
We were a fly on the wall. And Izzy and I last week, we were really excited about it because we thought it was going to be like a slight step down from watching people have sex.
Right. Yeah. A little dirtier, though.
Yeah, it's dirtier. Way dirtier, actually. Mm-hmm. But Esther Perel is interesting. Do you know anything about her?
Well, I'll tell you what I love about her is she's French.
She's Belgian.
Oh, well, she sounds French to me.
Okay.
So I expect every advice of hers to be like, just have croissant.
Yeah, she's just eat butter.
Put butter and croissant.
No, she's Belgian, so she's like got the waffle.
That's true. Maybe it's waffles that she'll suggest for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. But she's an American, so she lives here now. She's a psychotherapist. Guess how old she is?
55.
She's 65. She looks great for her age.
65. Well, I didn't see a picture of her. I just heard her voice.
Well, I'm telling you what you think.
You always tell me what to think. That's why I love you so much. I don't have to think.
I know. She's a erotic intelligence expert. She did a book called Mating in Captivity.
Mating in Captivity.
Yeah, it's so popular that it's been translated into 24 languages. Okay, is anybody else shocked that there are 24 languages?
I know, right? I could think of like 4.
Yeah.
The language of love.
Yeah, the language of love. So, and then she did The State of Affairs, which is her new one, which is Rethinking Infidelity. I mean,
Rethinking it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's a lot of thought in infidelity, but
yeah, if there was thought, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so she went to school in Jerusalem.
Okay.
Anybody else shocked by that? There's schools in Jerusalem?
I feel like it's all Mossad military school.
I feel like it's basically just like, I just pictured Jesus constantly just walking around there.
Right. And going to the Wailing Wall for a field trip and just, doing like, oh, yeah.
I've seen that, but I haven't seen a lot of it. But yeah, like that's Esther Perel. And she has a master class, which really? I don't know if you know this, but we pay for master class every.
I know that we pay for it, but I don't know what it is.
It's a bright idea from your beautiful wife. Is what it is.
It's probably to thank for all of your mastery.
Exactly. Which
I'm a direct beneficiary of. So
I know. You're a product of all my master classing.
What does that cost?
That's not my problem.
What's the price of mastery?
It's priceless.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I agree with that.
So, thank you. Thank you for stepping in and listening to this podcast with me. Sure. What did you think?
Well, the episode that we listened to this morning was interesting. It's kind of weird to listen to people go into therapy and talk about their problems and stuff. You know, that's really odd. But this couple was
weird?
It was a train wreck.
Yeah, they are awful.
Yeah,
they're fucked beyond recognition. No.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it just sounded to me like they're two people that have, you know, unresolved issues from their past, from their childhood, and they're kind of using each other to like resolve those things, which is kind of weird because they're not really about each other in the moment. They're about resolving their issues on each other, like there's some sort of sounding board, or they're just kind of mutually masturbating their problems with each other, but they're not. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I felt about it.
I don't know. I think all began, like, I look back at my previous relationships and even our relationship, like, you do work out your past, you know, trauma bonds and trauma on each other and try to put Humpty Dumpty back together again in a way. Like, I feel like, you know, even the people that you pick in the beginning of your, like in your 20s, the people you pick.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I mean, you pick, like, first you pick your mom. Did you have a therapist that said that?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to kind of go there. I was married once before for a year and a half, and that didn't work out. And, you know, I went to a therapist, and he said, "Is this your first marriage?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "No, it isn't." And he did the old, "This is actually your second marriage. Your first marriage is your relationship with your parents, and it's witnessing their marriage. And most people will repeat the patterns, and they will, you know, that's the model that you had as for what a husband and wife are, what a wife is. You know, you look at your mom or whatever. So you will kind of seek that out because that's your equilibrium. Sort of, yeah. You know, that's kind of creepy, but that's kind of the way it is. It's like, you know, things seek equilibrium, and that's the kind of thing that is your equilibrium. And so if you grew up with
you can blame your parents. It's always the mother.
Yeah, it's the mother.
Yeah.
You can blame the mother for everything.
What did you like?
So I married
did you
my mom,
like
and
watching Yama and Pop Pop? That's who we call it. Yeah. Oh my God, your poor mother. Maybe she didn't like you either.
Well, you know, that's another episode.
You don't give a shit about that.
Well, you know, I always joke because, you know, so married my mom didn't really work out for me. So then, you know, I went through a whole lot of self-discovery and a whole lot of therapy and craziness, and then you come along, right? And my dad was so taken by you, you know, and it was almost like I could see him going, "Where's my Lizzy?"
Oh my God.
Anyway,
I like your dad, like instantly, like definitely loved me. Your mom hated every ounce of me, and since then we've become really good friends. Like, I adore her now. But she hated me to begin with.
Yeah, but that was kind of the equilibrium that they were going for. The thing is, like, when you stop the music and you stop all that stuff and you just live in the moment and experience someone and connect with them, that other stuff, if you've dealt with it enough, can fade away to like a small hum. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, like, looking back, we grew up so differently. Like, I think that's one of the things that make us work the best is, like, you grew up in a home that really didn't show any passion or any confrontation or any kind of ups and downs. You were very even. All mine was passion and confrontation. Like, we didn't. Like, there was no stability in, like, the way I grew up. So I think that when we came out into our 20s, you dealt with your shit. I went on to recreate that pretty toxic environment. And then once we got to each other, we were like, I remember thinking before I met you, was like, fuck, I'm not doing something I am doing is wrong. Like, I am not killing it right now, and I need to choose someone different. You know, and I remember thinking when I first met you, we met on MySpace.
Doesn't everybody?
MySpace was like you were the first day I signed up for MySpace, you were in my DMs.
Yeah, you catch them quick.
Yeah, you caught me quick. And you know,
I didn't want you to be tainted by all those crazy predators out there. I wanted to protect you. You clearly needed saving. So.
Yes, I did. My MySpace had like Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes playing. That had to have been a huge turn on. You should have known I was high maintenance then.
I just looked at the picture and I'm like, yeah. I'm in. I'm superficial, so you know.
Yeah, you were definitely superficial, and you still are. I love that about you.
So anyway, this podcast,
yeah,
was you know this couple that I guess they were both married when they met. They had an affair together
in a small town.
Blew up their lives. Got together and then broke up. Is that what happened? And then
they both cheated on each other.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right.
And then they broke up, and then she got with a musician. Which, you know, we all do at some point.
Usually a good idea, right?
Yeah, that's always like non-toxic. And then now they're like trying to get back together. And I mean, this guy was a nightmare. The guy was a nightmare. He was like a red flag with a penis.
He was a player, and he was playing games, and he's lying to everybody. And she's the only person who ever was able to see that he was a complete liar and call him out. They said she was his personal human lie detector.
Yeah, and I loved the therapist, Esther, who I know like personally now because I listened to her podcast. She said, you know, have you ever thought that nobody before gave a shit?
Yes, right.
I loved that.
They didn't care enough about you to even
call you out
on it. Yeah.
Yes, I loved that. I was like, that might be a big thing for people to think about when they're getting away with everything, is maybe you're not with the right person because they don't give a shit about you. Because nobody is good at it.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
even if you're great at it, you know, that might work if you're playing poker. But if you're in a marriage, I mean, that's just, there's no room for that. It goes against it. So they're like swimming against the tide and wondering why they're not getting anywhere, you know? Yeah.
Well, I think in most marriages that I see that are going south, they're not like swimming in the same direction. They're not going in the same direction, and they're also they're not like doing it together. Like we've gone different ways in our marriage, like where it hasn't been, we haven't been connected. And the thing that I notice is we're like not working together for a common goal. You know, so like the minute we start to like say the we statements and we start to, you know, be like, you know, I'll be lashing out at you, and then I'm like, whoa, like I'm hurting him. I'm hurting his feelings. I know you're very sensitive, but I know. Oh God, what do our fights look like? It's usually you snapping at me because you think you're letting me down.
Can you imagine though, like I mean, when we get into a fight or an argument, it is so nasty and uncomfortable. And like, how could you do that? Can you imagine doing that all the time, like every day, and getting off on it? Because people obviously do, or else they wouldn't keep doing it. But like, man, I just hate it. It's like the whole world, like your perception of the whole world comes down to this tight, narrow little thing where I'm failing. This is the one.
We're failing. We're just. It's over. Life is over. Yeah, I've been in that.
Coffee's too hot. Her
Yeah.
coffee's not hot enough. I'm a failure.
Well, that is a big deal. But like, you know, I've been in that relationship, my previous relationship, which is one of fight and make up and fight and make up. And you end up craving the fight as much as you do the makeup because you're just not connected in any other way.
Do you think
You know,
sometimes people will like pick a fight just so they feel like they're still important to that person? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you start saying something stupid or like rude or whatever, and they don't react, doesn't that kind of mean that they don't care? You know, and if you don't not getting any attention,
well, when
any
you're
other way-
ignoring me, and you do sometimes ignore me, I will start a fight with you. I'll just admit that right now. Like, I'll just be a bitch.
Let's try it right now. I'm just gonna sit here and like, oh wow, yeah, Mr. Beast is on YouTube.
Yeah, I have. Did you like I just admit that I do that, and you know I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll switch things up. Sometimes I'm bored, so I'll
Yeah,
just
well,
totally like, you know. I mean, it's not, you know. But there was something in here. He, which I kind of aligned with. He makes her feel special for putting up with his bullshit rather than fixing it. Did you notice that? He was like, she's the only one that sees me. She's the only one that can deal with me. She's the only one this. And I was like, okay,
Right.
I don't do that to that level, but I think I kind of like make a big deal out of you putting up with me rather than me fixing my bullshit sometimes.
Like I'm giving you a get out of jail free card
Yeah.
to be very needy, or what is it? I don't know.
Well,
Particular?
you know, bitchy. Yeah, I'm very particular. Everyone knows that. Mm-hmm. Like, but I think like sometimes I'll be like, if Jason kills me, I deserved it, you know, rather than change whatever the bad behavior is. Well, I just recognize that. I'm like, okay, but in these episodes, I recognize little things, maybe not everything. Like this guy's a fucking narcissist nightmare who blames
Yeah, and I
his
think-
grandfather for how he is, which I thought
think
that
he
was weird.
Could you see like he was kind of getting off on getting away with stuff and being able to, like, you know, because he'd talk about in his previous, like, she's the only one who ever knew that he was lying, and I could lie and get away with it. And he started to get, you could see the pride and the excitement, and maybe even like, because right now I think that this couple has she's married to this other guy, but they're seeing each other right now, but they're in secret. They're like still seeing each other in secret, and I think he likes that secret. I think he likes getting, you know, that's his.
Well, that
he
is
likes
like
that.
fun. That's like a lot of people like to have sex out in public because they like to like the fear of getting
Fear
caught.
of getting caught. Yep. And
Yeah,
getting away,
I
the
think-
thrill of getting away with that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's his grandpa's fault. That's what he said. I was like, we're
And
gonna.
his dad was a pussy, and he didn't respect his dad because his dad was a nice guy, and you're either
But
a
let's
nice
be
guy
real
or you're a man.
honest. Let's gonna be real honest. I'm gonna be real honest. And if Izzy was here, she would not put up with this bullshit. But I'm just gonna say it because you're nice, and you'll put up with me. But the real problem is the man is short. He said so.
Yeah, I heard him refer to her musician as tall, and he has a lot of friends.
Yeah,
You
a
know.
short man has to be really secure, and they have to have a big penis. I think.
And
I
this guy
bet
doesn't.
he. No, I don't think he
Right.
does. But that was like his. I bet his real problem. It wasn't his
Yeah.
grandpa.
And he was talking about getting bullied a lot, you know, and he was talking about like there's like an inferiority complex there, so he's kind of created like a false alter ego that he uses lies to create to make him feel better about himself, and then he seeks out a partner who's going to make him feel better about himself, but it's all about himself.
Yeah,
that's where
he's
you're
not
talking-
in it.
Yeah,
He's
that's
not
where
in
the
it to make
narcissist stuff-
anybody's life better.
Yeah. Yeah, and
you
she's
could
just
just-
trying to find, like, because her dad was like a cheater, and, you know, she's just trying to resolve that through this guy, you know. And
Which,
it's-
I mean,
it's-
if you're over the age of 25, get the fuck over it. and don't she's just like flogging herself because her dad didn't choose her over whatever broad out there that he went after.
Yeah, and where your dad put his dick really isn't about you.
I know. That's weird.
And it really shouldn't be, so that's a good thing.
Can we get a t-shirt that says that?
Yeah, it might be a little wordy. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, it feels a little wordy. Yeah, a bumper sticker maybe.
Yeah, anytime you can get your dad's dick into anything, it's probably a great idea.
Yeah,
that's why
it's definitely classy.
Yeah.
But the best part about this therapist is at the end of the sesh, she said, I think you have just you can't overcome. I think you guys should be friends.
Yeah.
I mean, she just straight up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and she also said, look, I might be wrong. I've just met you guys, but this is, you obviously, there's something about your friendship that you guys are good for each other, but it's probably not good to pursue anything more than that because it ain't going to work.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, you could see it. I mean, she said I might be wrong, but she knows she's not wrong.
Right.
But that's what I liked about it is she actually told you exactly what she was thinking all the time.
I know.
Which was
she
interesting.
edited it. She edited it and she did like a little monologue in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you had to give a piece of advice or two about relationships, because I think you're really, I don't tell you this often enough, but I do think you're a really good husband. What advice would you give?
Hang on, let me just bask in the warmth of that. Oh, thank you. What advice? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I just think with anything, with anybody in any situation, you got to find some self-awareness. You got to look at yourself, look at the choices that you've made, and try to understand why you've done that. Look to your childhood, your past, whatever, your parents' relationship. Try to understand all that stuff and work on yourself.
Yes.
And because if you do that, then now you know yourself, now you love yourself, now you are something that you're in a state where you can find real love instead of just taking and spraying your bullshit onto people.
Yeah.
And you don't do it on purpose, and I don't think that you're doing it when you're doing it. And the only way to short circuit that is to take a good, strong look at what you're doing, and your history and your past, and get a little therapy, betterhelp.com. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Come on. Get it. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't listening to anything you said, but I'm sure you're right.
What were you doing?
But no, I think that taking some responsibility for how you interact with somebody in any relationship is really important.
Or giving a shit. Let's start there. Yeah. Give a shit, people. Just give a shit.
Do I have to? I mean, that sounds like a lot.
You don't know. You don't have to, but then don't start complaining about how things aren't working out in your life and this person did this to me or that or the other thing.
Yeah.
Because usually it's your own choices that landed you here. So it's okay, let's go back through the decision tree and try to figure out where we went wrong. And, that's all we always do.
My advice for a healthy relationship is give the person the food they want. Give the person the sex they want.
Right.
Give the person, make life more comfortable for each other. Try to do if you want something, I'm going to try my best to give it to you. And if I want something, I want you to try your best to give it to me. And just laugh. And you have to find everything funny.
Can I unpack part of that?
Yeah.
Because in order to be able to give somebody the sex that they want, the food that they want, any of that, you have to know what that is.
Yeah.
And it's really, I'm really bad at it. I'm super bad at sharing those things with you or with any, I need this or I need that. Cause it's almost like I was always taught don't be a pussy. You don't need anything. You're fine. You know what I mean?
We had a really rough time in our marriage because of this. Yeah.
So that's always been difficult. And here's the other part is that you are innately able to see what did I do? Available. You're innately available. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
To me, but you're able to meet, like, we'll just meet somebody like off the cuff, and then you'll know exactly what they want. You'll know exactly what kind of food, like, you're paying attention, like you're tuned into that channel of like, what makes this person tick? What are they most interested in? What's their favorite color? Shit like that, I'll be like, really? I didn't notice that, or I didn't know that. And so, like,
it's called a lifetime of codependency. Thank you.
Guess. Yeah. But it's sometimes harder when you don't know what those things are.
It's very hard.
Or don't care.
Well, and like, I think that, like, where your self-awareness comes in is like, okay, I'm willing to give you everything that you want, and you don't even know what it is, so we're both unhappy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like, that's something that is hard to work on, as a couple.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's my advice. I don't know. But you know what we're doing next week is the 8 Rules of Love by Jay Shetty. Yeah. So might be a pain in the ass for you the next week. These self-help books always...
You'd be like, rule number 4, motherfucker. That's what my mom, that my mom used to do. Like, she got tired of telling my sister to, like, sit up straight, to, I don't know, there were a whole bunch of them, but she gave them numbers. She'd be like, Jen, number 4. She would.
Did you ever get yelled at?
Well, that's what's funny. Like, I didn't have any numbers. But
you were perfect.
Well, no, there is a difference. Like, I paid attention to, like, what would get you in trouble, and I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd think ahead. I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, and my sister's older than me, so she kind of paved the way. Like, she would do things, and I'd be like, wow, she got in trouble for doing that. I'm not going to do it. Because I'm codependent too. Like, I don't want to disappoint anybody or whatever.
Right.
Now, was there in me, like, the psychopath part where I would kind of say the right thing and then do the other thing and then just not tell anybody? Don't tell my parents, so then I get away with it. Whatever. Yeah.
Now you sound like short shit over here.
Yeah, well, I could see. I could see it. I could see it. I could see being like, the way I grew up in like, don't make waves, don't upset anybody. Don't sit here and like talk about your feelings or whatever. Don't do that. So, that had led me to years and years of trying to understand why I'm having trouble connecting with people when I don't give any of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I can be vulnerable.
Right.
Like that was not encouraged. So,
oh my God,
I didn't see a model of that. I didn't see, and my sister she was more out there. She would just do things, and she would live, outwardly, and they would, kind of squash that down. And it would.
What did it feel like to like come into a relationship with me where all the feelings are out all the time, and like almost to a point where, I mean, it goes the opposite of the spectrum where like I've had to kind of rein my shit in.
Oh, it's amazing. It was amazing for me. It was like the static was gone, and here's just someone who's like real and telling you, I want this, and I'm cold, and I'm like, yes, okay, here you go.
Yeah,
here's
you do not have to wonder.
No, yeah. it's like trying to do this crazy math problem without the formula.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all I want to do is solve you.
Well, and that's that got weird.
Yes, it did.
No, but like I think one of the best things that we've done in our relationship is never try to win it.
Yeah,
never
well,
try
that's
to
a
win our
whole thing.
relationship.
That's a
You know
whole
what I
weird
mean?
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't win. What are you doing? Yeah,
Like,
what are you gonna
like
win?
this guy was like looking for people to bust him. I'm like, what
Or
is
not,
this?
or
Like
get away with
Ghost in
it,
the
or not.
Graveyard? Like, what are you playing here?
Right?
Yeah, like I'm not trying to win anything against you. We're on the same team.
Yeah, what you're playing is kick the can. You're kicking your problems down the road to the next partner.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're
blaming them.
kicking
There's
the
so much
can,
blame.
and I know there was so much blame.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But I got a lot out of listening to it, and I think that everybody would.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I'm curious about her book, too. I didn't know that there was one.
Yeah, we'll do that one. We'll do that. Maybe I'll have you on again. Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. If this doesn't go well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
this definitely sucks.
This is
I'll
what our
just go to
coffee
New
sucks.
York and go to her office and have a session with her.
Well, I will not be joining you.
No.
Yeah, I would join you.
The last therapist I had was in New York City also.
Oh, God, you and your New York City therapists.
And he did a thing, it was pretty cool. He did a thing called walk and talk therapy where he, instead of sitting in an office, he would walk for an hour through Central Park with his client.
And you were his client?
No, well, I was not. I was on Skype or whatever, on video, remote, like whatever. But the people in New York that he would...
Oh, well, wait, he would walk with them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. What's his name?
I don't remember.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I'm
He
sorry.
was that impactful.
He was good. He's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
I love
Maybe
it.
too nice for therapy. Like, he wasn't mean enough. He wasn't, like, straight enough. He was always, like, an attaboy kind of therapist.
Well,
which
and
is
this
nice.
is one thing I love about you. Like, we were having an issue in our marriage a couple of years ago, and you got therapy. And my favorite thing about it is you didn't get one therapist. You got two therapists, one
Yeah.
mean one and one
Yeah.
nice one.
I assembled the dream team. And the mean guy was, like, really, I mean, he was really, really harsh. He was more like a traditional, almost like Freudian, like everything has to do with like sex and everything has to do with one thing. And I just kind of pictured him as sitting in like a dark closet, you know, like he was like angry.
Hey, you know, like it worked. We
Yeah.
got through it. Yeah.
It worked. But I think having him and Clay is the other guy's name. Clay was his
What's
name.
the last name? No last name yet.
Walk and Talk Therapy, I think, is his like brand.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he can be found. He can definitely be
Okay.
found.
Well, he did a good job for us.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's one of those
honey.
things too, like this is how codependent I am. I kind of sometimes want to just contact him to let him know things are going well. Because you know what I mean? It's like, okay, so you go through that with somebody, and if, you know, it did seem like the guy really cares. And then how do you don't even know like how
This
it
guy
turned out.
He didn't give a fuck about you.
Well,
Clay does. It's Jason something. He's telling the same story, and it's.
I know,
like,
right?
I think
Yeah.
his name was Jason. Like, yeah, he doesn't give one shit about you, honey. I'm the only one that cares about you.
Oh, I see. You're my savior. That's true.
Well, this guy, like that girl, was like acting like that on the podcast. She was like, she's the only one that can
Right.
see him. She's the only. Why am I different? I'm like, bitch, you're not different.
I
He
know.
probably just needs a
Yeah.
place to stay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he seemed like he was too far gone into narcissism and
Oh my
using
God.
people to his advantage or whatever, that like, you know, she's just a consequence.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been fun. You know, it's like a continuation of our coffee.
And we both have
But-
coffee still. I still
Yeah,
have
we
a little
still have
coffee left.
coffee. Next week, we're doing the 8 Rules of Love with Jay Shetty, and hopefully my co-host will be back.
Yeah, she has a voice. She lost her voice or something, right?
Yep, she lost her voice. So it's a podcaster's nightmare.
Yeah, that's something you need.
Yep. But I miss you, Izzy, and thank you, honey. I really appreciate you coming on short notice, taking
No
a
problem.
little bit of your day for me.
Yes.
And I love
Anytime.
you. I love you.
love you too.
And I'll see you tonight.
All right.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, baby. Love you.
Thanks for joining us this week on We Need Help, the podcast, the duct tape of self-help.
Please visit our website, weneedhelpthepodcast.com, where you can find links to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and all the others, so you'll never miss a show.
You'll also find links to the books we've reviewed and our amazing store.
If you enjoy this podcast, go right now, because if you're anything like us, you'll never do it later. Like and share our page and episodes on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or just tell a friend about the show. That would help us out too.
Also, feel free to let us know what you need help with, and we'll try to cover it in a future episode. You can also find us on Instagram at weneedhelp_the podcast.
Thank you for listening.